Hello, hello. 5 o'clock, I'm dead on time. So, took me a week, but I finally got the hang of Facebook settings. So, here we are, day 5. Well done, guys. Well done for still being here on day 5. I'm sure we've lost quite a few people, but that's fine. The ones that want to make a change will be here still. So, as we head into the weekend, into our alcohol free weekend, hopefully, I can tell that some of you are getting a little bit twitchy, and Shireen made me laugh. She posted this routine that she normally has, and she's very cleverly changed up that routine so that she doesn't think she will be buying her wine tonight. I think it was something about going to the supermarket and she's going to be avoiding that aisle because she's collecting her child at a different time or something. But well done, Shireen. You've made a plan, and that's so important, to prepare. You've played the movie forward. That's one of our most popular and effective tools. You've thought, okay, normal thing tonight, pick up child, go to the shop, grab the wine, and you've reconfigured it so you're not going to be in that situation. So well done. And tonight might be tricky if it's the first Friday night you haven't had wine, but get on the Facebook group and talk to us, and we'll talk you down. That's what we do with our members all the time. So please update us tomorrow. I want to know tomorrow morning on the Facebook group how your Friday night went. Where are we with our comments today? So only a couple of people here so far. One comment that I can't read, so I'm going to have a quick check on my phone just in case it's a technical issue. Just brought my microphone a bit closer. Here we go. 2 comments now. Right, okay, so Monica's there, Lynette's there, and Ellen, 3 of my very favourite people. Turn my phone down because I can hear myself. Nightmare. Right, well, knowing you 3 are there is wonderful, so thank you. Let's proceed. I've got loads of notes all over the place here. I don't want to forget anything. You know what it's like, Lynette, don't you? You've just got to tell them everything. So I guess the first thing I want to say is thank you. Thank you for doing our boot camp. It's been such a pleasure to hang out with you and get to know you. People from all over the world, as usual, which is so fantastic. Now, today is the day that I'm going to talk to you about breaking free. That's our brand new program. And this program's been in development for a while now, for a few months. And us trainers, I think I told you I was an HR director. I was in training and development and coaching and all that in a big corporate in my previous life before I retired. And us trainers, we get very excited about our training programs because we spend hours kind of crafting them, changing them, fiddling with them. And then when it's ready, it's quite exciting, and we just want to drill down into the detail and say, oh, wait till you see this checklist, and module 3 is amazing, and this is going to blow your mind. And really, you guys are interested in the nuts and bolts of our training courses, and I absolutely appreciate that. So I'm approaching this launch in a bit of a different way. And I'm doing that because I'm going on holiday soon, which is all pretty exciting. I don't go on holiday very often because I live in Cape Town, which to me is the most beautiful place in the whole world. So I don't really want to go anywhere. But I am actually making an effort and going on holiday soon because my husband is 80. How did that happen? So we're going to go on an exotic holiday. Now, I've been reflecting on the process of booking a holiday, the way that I booked that holiday. And when I booked the holiday, I booked it because of the destination. I wanted to go to that fantastic beach with all the palm trees and the tropical climate and the warm sea and the luxurious accommodation. That was all that was in my head when I was booking it. because when I booked it, I could already visualize myself, talk about playing the movie forward. There I was, lying on the beach, reading my book, ordering my alcohol-free cocktails, and I was happy as Larry. So I thought, that's it, I'm doing this thing. And that's what motivated me to book the destination. What I didn't want to think about so much, my husband was thinking about that because that's what he's like. I wasn't thinking about the journey. I wasn't thinking about the journey that would be hard and maybe rather boring. The journey that began when the Uber turned up, if it wasn't late, and then we got to the airport and there were lots of queues, and even before that, in the weeks before that, I'd have to think about visa, vaccinations, and what clothes to take, of course, even though my husband told me we don't need any clothes because we're going in a helicopter and you're not allowed suitcases. So all this kind of pre-holiday stress, I'm sure you're very familiar with it. And here's the thing, I didn't dwell on that journey because my mind is focused on the destination. So I thought, rather than going into the nuts and bolts of our program and how amazing it is, I would talk more about the destination. Of course, I am going to talk to you about breaking free and how it works, but I'm not going to make this whole talk about that because, well, for a start, it's on the website. And secondly, it's not that interesting. It's the result, isn't it, that's interesting. So I'm going to take you now to the sun-drenched beaches of sobriety. Let's just remind ourselves why we want to be alcohol-free in the first place. I can talk forever about the benefits of sobriety, but here are my top 7 benefits that I've just written down very quickly because I could probably come up with 70, but let's settle for 7 for now. So physical health, I've noticed a dramatic improvement in my physical health. Someone in boot camp, sorry, I can't remember her name, but she said that she wanted to do this because she wanted a second lease of life. Well, I ditched the booze at the age of 63, and I feel as if I've been given a second lease of life. I've already had 8 years of health and happiness that I'm sure I wouldn't have had if I'd been carried on drinking. I'm not even sure I would still be here if I'd carried on drinking. So physical health, dramatic improvement. You know, energy levels are through the roof. I exercise a lot, and I just feel great. And then there's the mental health, number 2. I've got so much more mental space, if I can put it that way, so much peace, because previously there was always an inner struggle. Conscious mind was saying, you've got to stop this, you've got to stop drinking, you're killing yourself. Subconscious mind was saying, but I'll lose all my friends, I won't be able to relax, how will I have fun, blah, blah, blah. So they were always arguing inside my head, and that was very tiring and very stressful. So that doesn't happen anymore because there's no more inner struggle. I've done it, I've found peace. And then there's the anxiety. I always had this kind of knot in my stomach of anxiety, and it was just always there really for years and years. And I noticed about 3 or 4 months into sobriety, I woke up one morning, I thought, oh, I feel really good. What's different? And I realized that kind of sick feeling, that knot, it just wasn't there, and it hasn't come back, touch wood. So anxiety reduced dramatically. Better relationships. My poor long-suffering husband, who put up with my over-drinking for years and years and years, he's one of those normal drinkers. And the sad thing is I'm second wife, and his first wife also became an alcoholic. So obviously I tease him and say, well, it's being married to you that makes us all drink too much, but that's actually not the truth at all. So yeah, he was so disappointed every time I fell off the wagon, because I did try to drink less because of him. I knew how much he hated it. But every time I failed, I could see the disappointment in his eyes, which of course made me feel even worse. But now that disappointment's turned to pride, and he's always telling me how proud he is of me and my son, who's now 41. We never talked about my drinking when he was growing up, but these days we talk about it, and he tells me, that he never thought that I would do it, frankly. I think the subtext was, well, you're so old now, what's the point? But he was surprised, but he wasn't convinced. He just didn't talk about it much because I don't think he believed that I could really do it. But now we talk about it, and he said, he's proud and he's so pleased that I've done this, because he said when I was drinking, not only did he hate it, but he was worried that I was going to die, because when I had breast cancer, he thought that I was going to die of the breast cancer, but fortunately I got better. But he knew, which I didn't really, I was still in denial, because he'd read up that heavy drinking and breast cancer are linked, you see. So better relationship with him, with my husband, and then of course friends. I've got deep and authentic friendships these days, and my drinking buddies have drifted away, but frankly, who cares? Don't miss them at all. Number 4, better sleep. I think I mentioned this morning, didn't I, about that REM sleep, the deep restful sleep. Drinkers get 2 cycles a night. We need about 7, and you won't get 7 cycles unless you quit drinking. When I hit 60, I was exhausted and depressed. And I remember thinking, oh, well, that's what 60's like then. This is going to be my life going forward, always tired, always depressed, my life getting smaller and smaller. Because over the years, I hadn't been getting my 7 REMs, and the fatigue had been building up, and that was why I was so exhausted. So, I ditched the booze, sleep well, and I felt amazing, because it's just so different. I can't explain it. You have to experience it for yourself. But the fact, when I look back now and I think, oh, why on earth didn't I join the dots? That my exhaustion was down to not sleeping properly, which was down to drinking a bottle of wine a night. All makes sense now. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. Number 5, let's look at the vanity aspect, shall we? Well, I know that I look better probably than I did 10 years ago. What you'll find is, and those of you that have already had periods of sobriety, you'll notice that your skin improves really quickly because it gets hydrated again. Every glass of wine that we drink, we lose 4 glasses of water from our body. So me with my bottle of wine a night for decades, I must have been like a shriveled old prune inside. So when you stop that and your body can start working as it's supposed to work, then the hydration comes back. I mean, our bodies and brains are amazing, the things they put up with. And if you just stop poisoning yourself, the healing will happen. Your eyes will sparkle, the eye bags will reduce, and metabolism, I can kind of eat more or less anything without putting on weight these days, whereas I spent most of my life on a diet. I always say in my 20s I lived on white wine and cigarettes, which was true. I didn't eat much then because we all wanted to look like Twiggy. So these days my metabolism, I'm convinced, is much more efficient. It's actually doing its job. It's metabolizing the food that I eat. It doesn't have to focus all the time on getting rid of this toxin so that I don't die, because your body doesn't really care if you're fat or thin, but its job is to keep you alive, so it has to get rid of that poison. Number 6, personal growth. I was pretty depressed when I gave up drinking, and my kind of AA classes didn't help that feeling. I genuinely thought that the good times were over. But now I realize, and I think I realized this after the first year, that recovery is so much more than not drinking. That's just the beginning, because sobriety is the springboard to self-development. I mean, my last 8 years have been so rich in the connections that I've made and the way that I feel and my energy and my creativity. so much self-development has been taking place. And lastly, as I said, I could go on, but I'm going to control myself. I found my purpose. I mean, I'm doing this, I'm so fulfilled. And as you can imagine, it's so rewarding watching people change their lives all the time. But on a general note with that purpose thing, once we stop draining our energy and our motivation with booze, we get to shift our energy, our focus, because it takes a lot of energy, all that controlling. I mean, I was very much a functioning alcoholic. So there I was with my high-powered job, my family, my social life, all the things looking outwardly quite successful, but inside I was dying and I was exhausted and I had horrendous hangovers, but I would push myself through because otherwise I would have to accept that I had a problem. So to be a functioning alcoholic takes an enormous amount of energy. And when you ditch the booze and sort yourself out, you've got all that energy to redirect into something that you love. You can find your passion. You can discover who you really are and what you want out of life. And that's when the magic happens. So, excuse me a moment. I'm just going to shuffle my notes, which will probably make a horrible noise. Let me just check on the comments. Oh, Shirley, lovely to see you here. Day 5, yep, it certainly is. Ellen. Yes. I'm glad you like my journey and destination, Lynette. I actually got that from our mutual friend, Colin. Lynette and I both follow this Australian guy who is a bit of a guru on pitches and stuff like that, and we like his approach, don't we, Lynette? He talks about inviting people into a place of transformation, and that's actually what we do. Laura, hi Laura. Yeah, sleep is awesome. Oh, Laura, you've been amazing. Such a motivating force to those boot campers. I remember when you were new. So just let me sort out my notes now because they're a bit all over the place. I've got so many, as I said, I've got so much to tell you, but I can't go on for too long either because you might fall asleep or run away. So I'm trying to discipline myself. Right. So I hope after hearing my 7 benefits there that you're feeling inspired about the destination, which of course is an alcohol-free life that you love, a life you don't want to escape from. That's your destination. So let's now talk about that journey. Let's talk about the Uber to the airport and the airport queues and that long and boring flight. And yes, that journey will be sometimes quite hard, and you might go through stages of thinking, oh, why am I going on this holiday again? Why didn't I just stay at home because that was easier? But once we get to the destination, it's going to be all worthwhile, just like my holiday will. And our journey, of course, is the Breaking Free program. Now, to create the program, I've taken all the learnings, contacts, resources that I've discovered over the last 8 years, and I've brought them together to create what I hope is a world-class program. Because it's exactly what I needed back when I was floundering around and very depressed and just feeling so stuck, as if this is what my life was going to be. I was having, as Lynette calls it, not this moments all the time, but I didn't know what else. I didn't know how to change. I felt completely trapped and I was desperate to get out. And this program is exactly what I needed. And if I had a time machine to go back, I would sign on and do this, and I'm sure I would be fine. We've seen so many people change their lives since we started Tribe Sober that we've realized quite recently, and through listening to our guru, Colin, we've realized that we haven't got a membership or an online course or a workshop or a challenge or a coaching program. We've actually got a place of transformation. And we want to invite you into our place of transformation. But before we do that, we want to make sure it's a good fit for you, because we want you to succeed. The last thing we want is people signing up for Breaking Free and then it doesn't work for them, and then they tell all their friends that Breaking Free doesn't work. So we want the right people in this program. So we need to be sure of your commitments. So what do we mean by that? Well, the currency of commitment is a bit of money, quite a lot of time, energy and attention. So Breaking Free is for you if you're ready to put yourself first and make a commitment to change your life. And I saw something really sweet on the Facebook group earlier. I think it was Kath, and she was responding to quite a long post that I haven't had time to read yet. But this lady, I think she was saying that I've got to learn to put myself first. And Kath said something like, yes, sister, let's put ourselves first. So absolutely, you've got to put yourself first. Because women, I mean, we're notorious, aren't we, for running ourselves ragged, looking after everybody else, neglecting ourselves. So we get exhausted, so we start drinking wine just as an act of self-care, when in fact it is anything but. So Breaking Free is not for you if you're not prepared to invest in yourself. So let me go back to, sorry, I got a bit muddled there. The currency of commitment: money, time, energy, attention. So Breaking Free is for you if you're ready to put yourself first, make a commitment to change your life. It's also for you if you've had a not this moment. You heard Lynette talking yesterday about her not this moment. And I think a lot of us know exactly what she means by that. Or, you know, more commonly we talk about being sick and tired of being sick and tired. Maybe that's how you feel. Or maybe you think, I remember when I came round after my terrible long walking, talking blackout the next day, I thought, I cannot do this anymore. Maybe you've had a moment like that. So Breaking Free is for you if you're in that place, but it's not for you if you're not prepared to invest in yourself, invest money, time, energy and attention. If you're not ready to put yourself and your health and happiness first. Or perhaps you're just not ready. I mean, we find that in Tribe Sober. Some people join us and they leave us quite quickly, and we know they haven't even tried. And we used to get quite upset in the early days. But as Sue often says, well, then they weren't ready. They'll be back. And they very often are. So maybe you're not ready. You've heard me talk about that 11 years, haven't you? That the fact that most drinkers spend 11 years trying and failing to moderate, 11 years stuck in that contemplation phase, stuck in that inner struggle. Well, maybe you're still there, and maybe you haven't had your 11 years yet, but I think the smart people jump out of that contemplation phase before the 11 years is up. So, but if you're not ready, you're not ready. And the thing is, the Breaking Free program will stay on our websites, but after next Wednesday, the price will increase because we've got a special launch price for 5 days. And we do that 5 days only thing because we don't want you to procrastinate. You know, we want you, if this is right for you, then for goodness sake, just book it. You know, don't think, oh, I'll do it on Monday, or just do it. Do it now. Because now it's time to make your choice. Are you going to take the sober road, or are you going to stay stuck in Drinking Alley? I hope you saw my post on Facebook. I like that post. I'm quite proud of it. So Drinking Alley, let's think about that for a moment. You're really stuck in the Groundhog Day of daily drinking. And I think most of you know Groundhog Day, that movie where the guy has the same day over and over again. Well, if you're a daily drinker, then you're stuck in that because you wake up in the morning, headache, tired, think, ugh, tonight I'm not going to have a drink because I've got to get a good night's sleep. So set off on your day with good intentions. 5 o'clock, you think, oh, I'm exhausted. I'm going to have a drink when I get back. Because here's the thing, if you're drinking every day, even if it's only a couple of glasses, you're always in that kind of withdrawal stage because your body's always in a state of withdrawal because it's never really detoxing, it's never really cleaning out. So that's why 5 o'clock you think, oh, I need a drink, and so it goes on. So that's why we call it drinking alley, because it's a dead end. It's a dead end and it's a Groundhog Day, and your life gets very small and very boring, and the dependency will get worse. So the thing is, are you going to trust us to guide you? I love that Martin Luther King quote. I see a couple of other people love it too. He said that faith is taking that first step, even if you can't see the whole staircase and see where it leads. So I'm saying, have faith in us, because we've climbed that staircase, we've got right to the top, and we know what's at the top, and we know it's so worthwhile. And we can guide you up that staircase, and we can help you when it gets hard, and we can show you techniques and tools to get around the problems that you may face. So let me describe that staircase, the journey, the path, whatever you want to call it. I was actually inspired to build that program by an interview I did with a British journalist called Sam Delaney. And he was a podcast guest. And he's sober now after decades of drinking. And he told me that, because I always ask my guests, well, how did you do it? How did you give up? And he told me that he'd built his own recovery model. And I was kind of intrigued by this. So he said he thought of it as a kind of hybrid. So he did a bit of AA, and he had some coaching, listened to a lot of podcasts, did an online course, had some therapy. He just did lots of things kind of piecemeal, and somehow it all came together, and the chemistry was between those components, and it worked. Because he was in serious trouble. I mean, have a listen to the podcast. It's quite fun. It's quite interesting. He's a great guy. So that's when it occurred to me that we've been building things, courses, programs, excuse me. We've been creating things in Tribe Sober for years now. So that's when it occurred to me that I could take the best bits of our content and combine them into a powerful program. So let me just whiz you through the 4 components. It's all on the website already. You can book now if you like. But what we do is there's an online course, which I think I developed about a year ago. And that online course, I think we've had about 40 or 50 people through that. We've got some great testimonials. I think Sue's posted a couple of them on the Breaking Free page. So the Foundations of Sobriety is an online course. And the way that I structured that online course, because I was very well aware that 90% of people that purchase an online course never finish it. And I'm actually guilty of having done that myself. So I didn't want that to happen with our online course. So I built in some personal touch points. So that means that as well as an online course, so you've got all the content and all the science and the psychology and all the knowledge, all the theory that you need in the Kickstart Online. And then the personal support comes from 2 Zoom calls with me. When you first sign up, we have a Zoom call just so that I can learn a little bit more about you. And then midway through your Kickstart, we'll have another call to do a progress review. And then at the end of Kickstart, you'll have a coaching session with Lynette. And Lynette will be making sure that you've been able to transfer the learning from Kickstart into your daily life, because that's the point of it. It's not just theoretical. We want you to implement it and transform your life. And then we have a group workshop. The group workshop is a 4-hour Zoom workshop, and we normally confine it to about 15 people. And it's great, you know, because we've got the people on the Zoom screen and they all share their story to start with, and then we go through some content. And then at the end of that, there's also a coaching session with Lynette. So in your Breaking Free package, there are several, well, there's, to be absolutely precise here, there's 2 sessions with Lynette. Or no, there's 3, isn't there, Lynette? Because they're also members, and our members have an introductory session with Lynette. So 3 sessions with Lynette. And apart, so we've got our theory, personal support, group workshop, and then community support. And that is so key. That's the heart of Tribe Sober, our community. So we give you 3 months membership. And we've picked 3 months as a time frame because we've been guiding people through the Kickstart Online. And we know, I mean, some people get through it in a month, but they really throw the book at it, so to speak. But the average is about 3 months. So we thought, well, let's make the membership 3 months, and then that'll encourage people to keep at it, to keep going through Kickstart Online. So you've got 3 months Tribe Sober membership. And frankly, we're so confident that you're going to love the community and make friends and want to stay with us that we think that after the end of that 3 months, you'll stay with us as a monthly member. You can pay your subs monthly or annual. So that's how it works. And we've got a bonus because, as I say, we want to encourage you to sign up quickly, because it's very easy to kind of lose the momentum and think, oh, I'll do that next week. But we want you to sign up, preferably today, because the first 10 to sign up are going to get a bonus, which is a power hour. That's a 1-hour chat with Sue, my colleague Sue, who I think I mentioned her before. She got sober with AA, but she's been working with Tribe Sober for like 5 years now. And she works very closely with me. I mean, together we do most things. She manages the membership side, and she knows just about everything there is to know about sobriety. She'll really be able to listen to your story and start guiding you how to navigate this. So you'll get a power hour with Sue, and also a free ebook. I wrote a book a few years ago called 66 Days to Sobriety, because it takes 66 days to build a neural pathway and change a habit. That's why it's called that. And it's 66 pages really of insights, you know, bite-sized chunks of information about sobriety. So we can send you that if you sign up soon. We've already had 5 sign-ups, so it's actually the next 5 to sign up that will get the bonus. So on that subject, I'd better welcome our Break Freers. So the very first lady to sign up was Aisha, who is from Edinburgh. Now that's interesting, because Monica is living in Aberdeen, although she's South African. We've got Aileen, that's been on this group quite a lot. That I think was also a boot camper that joined as a member afterwards. So we're getting quite a little Scottish gang up there, aren't we, Monica? And then there's a lady called Susan, who is from the US. I'm not quite sure where. And then the third member was Emma. Emma's from the UK. And then we've got Tanya, who is from South Africa. I think I know you, Tanya. I sent you a little message. Do let me know. I'm sure our paths have crossed in the past on the catering thing. And then we've got Natalie, who's also from the UK. So we've got 3 Brits, 1 Safa and 1 American. So that's pretty cool. And what we'll do is, I was talking to Sue about this afternoon. Sue will be having a regular Zoom chat, I think next Wednesday. So we'll invite you guys to that Zoom chat so we can all meet on there. And we'll obviously be connecting in lots of different ways. So what else did I want to say? Yeah, if you're a Tribe Sober member and you want to purchase Break Free, then make sure that you are logged in as a member when you go into the website and book, because that way you'll get your member discount. So that's the journey. If you've got any questions, please stick them in the comments and I'll answer whatever is there now. And obviously during the weekend, we'll be in and out all the time. And just as a last word, I think I wanted to say that yes, it sometimes will feel hard to break free from the booze. But as Lynette's very clever therapist said, what is wrong with hard? Carry on drinking and your life will become harder and harder. And let me finish this little talk with an intriguing fact. Now, those of us that have become dependent on alcohol are actually the lucky ones. Don't tell the normal drinkers this. I'm sure you Brits know Russell Brand. I'm quite a fan of his. Well, he said that we're the lucky ones because we've been forced to the wall. We've been forced to examine our lives, to take it apart and almost reconstruct our lives. And that's when the magic happens, when we start thinking, who are we? What do we want? How do I want my life to look? And what am I going to do to get there? And that's something which never happens with normal drinkers. So get excited and sign up for Breaking Free now. Well, that's the sales pitch. That's the launch. Going to look at the comments. Nope, still not on my screen. So let me look on my phone. Oh, so Tanya, it is Tanya that I know. Yes, Tanya has a catering company, and she came to my house and helped me to host a mocktail party. I think it was my 5th soberversary. I mean, you were there, Sue. I don't know if you remember which one it was. But she brought a barman and he made all these awesome mocktails. Hi, Melinda. Ellen, yes, Ellen's giving shout out here to Sue, Information Guru. She can come up with a book title and its author, like she read it this morning. It's good. She's got a very, very fast brain. She's an accountant, you see, clever. Yeah, the chemistry was between the components. Yeah. So some questions that Sue's dealing with. Yeah, Ellen, you can see that Groundhog Day thing, just day after day. So Eleanor was late. Never mind, Eleanor, we'll sort you out. Oh, yes, we didn't talk about the 3 a.m. wake-up call. Oh, my God, we all know. We all know about that. But did you know why it happens? It happens because that's about the time when the alcohol leaves your system. So you've been numbing out all that anxiety, and then the alcohol leaves the system and it all comes flooding back. And that's why you feel so absolute shit, as Lucy would say. Hi, Victoria. Oh, I do hope that you're going to join us. Laura, Shireen, yes, I hope you heard me saying how I like your plan, and I want to know how it goes. So you better report back tomorrow morning, please. Okay, so I think that's pretty much all the comments. Obviously, I'll keep an eye on them. So it's been so awesome getting to know you guys. I might just pop on over the weekend, do a quick update, because what happens is normally we get WhatsApp questions and emails and things. So if there are quite a few questions, I might do a very quick live on probably Sunday. And yeah, those of you that have joined I hope I'll see you at the Zoom Cafe tomorrow. And I think that's it from me. So thank you and bye. See you soon. And the group, we'll keep the group going for at least a week or so. So please, let's carry on the conversation.